Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Hope everyone is doing fine. So today we are going to learn about variables, okay, in Blue Prism. In general, what is a variable, right? Variable is nothing but a data container to hold a type of data. Like a data type can be like a number or a string or a date or a password, right? So there can be different types of data. Okay, so let's see in Blue Prism how do we implement it. So I have created a process by the name learning variables. I have showed how to create a process in my previous video, and I would like you guys to try it out to create a process with the name learning variables. Okay, now okay, let me delete. So let's try to so the stage that is used by Blue Prism for setting up variable is called data item. Okay, there is one more which is collection. We'll cover it later. Basically collection is more of a two-dimensional data, and data item is for one-dimensional data. Okay, so let's say so let's understand what are the properties of a data item. So first thing is the name. So you can set some name here, the name of your variable. Okay, and you can also give description that what exactly that variable is trying to do. Okay, then there is a data type. I say it right, there can be different types of a variable, right? Like it can be a date time, flag, number, password, text, time spent, image, and binary. So these are all the types which Blue Prism provides. Okay, so let's try to understand a few of the things and let's see an example. Okay, so another thing is, so okay, let's see, let's assume I want to do some calculation. So let's take a number, and so an r means I want to prefix it with nr, so that I normally practice this way. So if it is nr means it's like a number, and then I will try to set some name. So let's say I'm just saying basic calculation, basic calculation. Okay, and I'm initially putting that number as 0. So that means the initial value will be set to 0. Okay, exposure will cover little later, and the current value we cannot change, but it is when we run we can see the current value. It automatically updates. Okay, then there is something called visibility. So visibility is basically if we now it is by default this both check boxes will be checked. So visibility, when it is checked, what does that mean is this is a local variable. So it says hide from other pages in the process, which means this variable cannot be used in other pages. It can be used only in that particular page. So it's a local variable. Okay, another is initialization. So by default it will be ticked, which says reset to initial value whenever this page runs. So basically when you tick this, it means that whenever that page is running, whenever the control comes to that page, right, that value will be set to the initial value. Okay, whatever. So okay, let's try to understand one thing. So let's say I want a global variable of I want a variable that can be used in multiple pages, right? So what I will do is then I will uncheck that visibility, right? When I uncheck, it means it will be visible in all the pages. Okay, so it is like a global variable, right? Now another thing is, if I keep this reset, right, initial value reset, and I keep it in a page, since it's a global variable, the problem, so ideally for global variable you better handle, I mean if you have to reset it's better to handle it with a calculation stage to like you want to set it to 0, then you better set it like that rather than checking this. Because otherwise what might happen that if this global variable is in specific page, and whenever and you are trying to do some calculation with that variable in multiple pages, what will happen is if you once you reach to that page, no, that variable will become 0. Let's say my initial value is 0, so in that page it will become 0. So all the previous calculations that were done will be gone. So for global variable, the good practice is to keep it unchecked, but it's not a hard and fast rule. Maybe in some place you might have a requirement where you have to reset it, then it's fine. And also it's good to keep global variable in the main page because it's easy to search. Because when you have a real-time process, you will have lot of pages, lot of different variables. So if you try to keep global variable in one place, right, it is better. So and also you can also add a prefix called g underscore, which means global, or a gb or something. So it will identify it's a global variable, right, and uncheck it. So let's say I'm creating a global variable. Let me show how it is used. And I unchecked it to that reset value, right. um, Local variable we can actually reset. Okay, let's assume that this was a local variable. We can reset because again, it's not a hard and fast rule. Maybe there is something, the local variable you want to keep the old past value and do some comparison, like the past request processing, you want to keep that value. So in that point, maybe you can deselect it, but otherwise you can keep it reset. So in normal sense, I'm saying that local variable you can keep it reset. Okay, let's understand the use of a global variable, and let's understand this hide from other pages, how it works. So I've created a global variable. Okay, and just to show you a good practice, so ideally what you should do is, as also this will be serving as a good example. Let's say I want to keep all the global variable. Sorry, let me. Okay, so global variable. Okay, so in real time process also, it is good. Let me make it big. So okay, so in real time process, it is good to keep all the global variables inside a block. Okay, for better readability and better searchability. Okay, otherwise if you keep variables everywhere, scattered, while maintenance it will be difficult. Okay, so this is a good practice, and I prefer to keep global variable in the main page to so that we can easily find out. Okay, and then inside a box, let's say I have a local variable, I'll keep it separately, maybe with a different color. So it color is most for readability. In the last video I explained, right, that sometimes the colors are useful. So this can be one of the useful way. Okay, let's say I so okay, let me put it back to black. I think, yeah. Okay, so let's say, let me rename this page as multiply. Okay, so what I'm trying to do is, I will this value, I'll do some addition here and multiplication here, and then we'll see how the value is changing. So let me make it little bigger. Okay, so I am doing addition or add 5. So what I'm going to do is, I'll take this variable. So this is where I'm storing it, and I am adding 5 to it. Okay, now this is a place to put expressions. Okay, you can also validate your expression. Let's say this is a valid expression, right? But let's assume I would have put 5 within inverted quotes. right? Because it will become a string. So now if I try to validate, it will throw an error saying that we can only add numbers, and that 5 is a string, right? So that's why it threw an error, right? So this is for the validation. So you can have a quick validation of your expression. You can also evaluate your expression, right? So if I do an evaluation, so here it does not take the initial value. Okay, you can set a value. Let's say I'm saying my initial value, if I do, so it will add 5, so it becomes 5. I can actually, so this is a simple one, so we don't need to check. But in real time, if you have a complex expression, you can actually test your expression here. Let's say I give 4, now 5 plus 4 should be 9. Okay, so this is how we can validate and evaluate our any expression. Okay, fine, we'll cover this later. Let's just understand now. Let's just try to see. And the same way now here, as I made this a global variable, right? So now we'll see that we can access the, so I'll say multiply by 2. Okay, and let's try to multiply by 2. Now you see, you can see this variable. Okay, okay, to make it more to understand it better, let me create one more variable which is local. Okay, let me copy this, and let me create a value like final calculation. Okay, and let me make it hide from other pages. Let it be 0, that's okay. Okay, now if I go to multiply here, see, you cannot see the final calculation because that's a local. I have hide it from this page, right? I can see only the global one. That's what I wanted to mean by local and global variable. Okay, now I want to add 5, then I want to multiply. Oh, come on. Okay, now after that I want to multiply by 2, and then again I want to subtract, uh let's say 3. Okay, so what I will do is, now multiplication is in this page. Okay, what I can simply do is I can call that page. Okay, and I can say I want to, so I want to use the multiply page. Okay, now next I will, let me copy paste and then say subtract 3. So I will subtract 3 from the whatever the basic calculation, and finally I will store in the local variable. Now you see here I can see the final calculation because it is local variable in this main page, right? So I will do this. Now let's try to run it and see. Okay, okay, let's try to debug this. Okay, so let me add a breakpoint here. So I do a run, it will stop. So breakpoint is somewhere where you want to stop a process, for if you want to do more spying, or read through different stages after that breakpoint. So there we use breakpoint to check the code better. Okay, so now I will go step by step. Okay, so let's do just step. So step means it will go uh, like it will just okay, let me show you what is step and step over means. Okay, so let's just do step. Okay, so if I do step now, please note here, now my basic calculation is 0, right? Now I do a step, so it added a 5, so now the basic calculation becomes 5, right? Now if I do step, so this is step in actually. Okay, so step in means it, the control went, because now I'm calling multiply, so it went inside the multiplication page, right? Again I do step in, right? So now it will multiply by 2. I again step. So now 5 into 2, it became 10, right? Now again I do step. I come here. Now you will see this will not change because I'm storing the final value here, right? It will still be 10. So it is still 10 because I have not like the calculation I've not stored here. I've stored finally in final calculation. So this has become 7. So this is step, right? The same thing let's try to do with step over. Okay, so I do a step over. Fine, you will not understand in a single step, you will not understand the difference between step in and step over, but just focus now in multiply stage. When I do a step over, the second one, okay, the second one, when I do a step over, you will realize that it didn't show me the, I mean, it didn't go inside this. I mean, it went inside it, but it didn't show me that. Okay, it just did the calculation. See, it actually calculated, right? 5 into 2, 10. So it is just that it didn't go inside that page and didn't go step by step inside that page. So if let's say, why this is important is, let's say I know that my error is coming in this stage, so I am sure that this is working fine. I don't need to go inside and waste time and check each step. So today in our test, as we are in a like doing a test run, so maybe we have one stage, but in real time you will have so many stages, right? So that's why I don't want to go inside this page, so I can just do step over. It will do the calculation and come out. It need not, the control need not take you to that page. Okay, so again I do step over here because it's a single stage, so there is nothing to go inside. So that's why you will not find a difference between step in and step over here. And then it is done, it came to end, and this is giving the same result, right? I hope it is clear until here. Like I also try to explain you the basic debugging way, right? And also what is the global variable and how to create multiple local variable, and some okay calculations will cover again. But yeah, till now I hope it's clear.